Be 100 with yourself. You do not stick to your own standards and boundaries, so how do you expect others to abide by them? You don't have a standards problem. You have a discipline problem with your own standards. You said you were not going to tolerate that again. You said, this time I'm different. This time I'm standing on business. Then what happened? The moment it got uncomfortable, the moment you felt like you might lose them, the moment they pulled back just a little, you folded. Not because you didn't know better, but because you didn't want to feel the consequence of standing firm. Let's be real. You keep blaming people for crossing lines that you keep erasing. Let me repeat that. You keep blaming people for crossing lines that you keep erasing. They are not confused. They are not misunderstanding you. They are watching you, watching what you say, then watching what you actually allow. The two never match. You teach people not to take you seriously. You don't lose people because of your standards. You lose people because of your inconsistency. One day it's, I deserve better. The next day it's, well, maybe I'm overreacting. No, you're not overreacting. You're under-enforcing. What are you really doing? You're trying to have standards without building the identity that can hold them. Standards sound good when you're alone, but standards get tested when emotions show up, when history shows up, when loneliness shows up, when attachment shows up. That is where most people lose, not in what they believe, but standing firm when it may cost you something. Be honest with yourself. How many times did you say, I'm done, but then answered the phone anyway? How many times did you say, I'm not going for that, then went for it anyway? How many times did you see the red flag, acknowledge the red flag, and then date the red flag? At some point, it's not them anymore. It's you abandoning you. You keep thinking, if I just explain myself better, they'll get it. No. They got it the first time. They just realized you don't require it. Standards are not what you say. Standards are what you enforce without negotiation, without over-explaining, without guilt, without needing approval. The moment you start negotiating your standards, they are no longer standards, they're suggestions. Let's learn what this creates. You start attracting people who specialize in testing limits. Why? They can feel it. They can feel when someone says, I have boundaries, but doesn't live like it. This is where it changes. Not when you make a new list of standards, not when you watch another video, not when you say, this time I mean it. It changes when you decide, I'm going to disappoint others before I disappoint myself. Every time you keep your word to yourself, you build something money can't buy. Self-respect. Once you really have that, you stop negotiating with behavior that doesn't align. You stop explaining your worth. You stop chasing people who only show up halfway. Question: are you tired of being confused? Or are you ready to admit you've been ignoring clarity? Clarity has been there, in the inconsistency, in the lack of effort, in the disrespect disguised as mistakes. You saw it. You just didn't act on it. So here's the real question. Where in your life are you still breaking your own standards and calling it being understanding? You don't need new standards. You need to become the person who enforces them. No more bending. No more explaining. No more second-guessing what you already felt the first time. The moment you stop breaking your own standards, everything around you changes. The people, the opportunities, the respect, all of it. If this hit you, it was supposed to. This is the kind of truth most people avoid. But this is where real change starts. Subscribe if you're ready to stop playing with your own life and start moving with intention, clarity, and self-respect. Over here, we don't just talk about growth. We live it. See you in the next one.